We are speaking with Lester Dore, artist, activist, instigator. Absolutely an instigator, about the art that is surrounding us and going to continue to go up for the remainder of the day to be a full show called Art Surge Global Instigations. Lester's a longtime political activist slash artist, and he has always combined both of them. And one of the things that we were talking about earlier is the artist's role in a time of war. And I know that you've got a sort of a, if you will, an outline of what that role consists of. Will you share that with our listeners?
Well, sure. First, I'd like to share a quote from Mayakovsky. Art is not a mirror held up to reality, but a hammer with which to shape it. Now, that's not my total philosophy. You know, half of my art is political and the other half is like, I love to draw landscapes.
Yeah, hard to hammer a landscape.
Yeah, but, you know, the artist does have a role in the time of war.
Yeah.
And I would say that the first principle that we might look at, the first responsibility, is to support people of conscience.
Yes.
Yeah.
What we spoke of earlier when you made those placards so that folks could hold up wonderful, thoughtful, artistic consciousness.
Exactly. People who gave their lives fighting against war, like Dorothy Day, Eugene Debs.
Eugene.
Yeah.
Yo, Terre Haute. Yeah.
Yeah, the young men and women who chose not to be deployed and faced prison, or went to Canada to avoid prison.
Right.
And the whistleblowers.
Yeah.
We got to support the whistleblowers, the people who are willing to speak out even at the risk of losing their jobs.
Or worse.
And the freedom fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I'm kind of partial to the nonviolent freedom fighters.
Indeed.
And there are.
Indeed.
And there have been a great many.
The ones who do the toughest job.
Yeah, like King, you know, like King, like Gandhi, like the guy in Kosovo who I don't remember, who we decided not to support because he was nonviolent.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like, a guy that we rarely hear of, Ghaffar, I can't remember all of his name. Did you know that there was an incredible peace movement in Pakistan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
A nonviolent peace movement started by a Pushtu, who are these people who now are, you know, calling them terrorists, Taliban, and all the rest of it. But that guy still, his party, which started at the time of Gandhi, still has influence there.
Wow.
So
yeah,
we don't hear about those people.
There are peacemakers everywhere.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That we know. They're just quiet. So supporting people of conscience was the first principle.
Yeah.
And then
second is, this is the one that's the easiest for us all, and that is to criticize life-threatening government policies. Imperialist wars, social service cuts, homeland security laws. Those are the kinds of things that we're facing right now. And I would say that a lot of the art here, there's certainly some of it there's a focus on the fact that our government under the Bush administration basically tried to legalize torture.
Right.
It's sickening.
Yeah. It sickened many of our fellow countrymen when that came out.
It does. But then, you know, we forget. And not only do we forget, but there are still, for instance, our art show and any pieces that are about this torture thing, unfortunately, are never going to drown out the kind of stuff about torture that people see every week on 24.
Oh, yeah. Right.
You know, because it's not just the stuff that we read in the newspapers. It's in the culture as well. In fact, some of those soldiers who were involved in torture at Abu Ghraib,
Don't tell me.
yeah, they watched 24.
And well, I thought you were going to say they acted as information, uh, I don't know what you call those specialists for the show themselves.
I hope not, but I don't know. They could have.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you see in this art show is the remaking of old familiar posters, like the old Uncle Sam Wants You poster, which has been remade in a lot of different ways by various anti-war folks over the years. And this particular one shows Uncle Sam with a peace sign saying, "I want peace," instead of "I want you," which is a nice touch.
Yeah, that's one of the woodcuts by Steve Chappell, who is from an artist from Madison.
Mm-hmm.
His other piece, I can't read it from here, but
Recession.
I believe it says, it says recession at the top, and then it says some industries are not hurting, and there's a hand holding a gun.
Mm.
Or some markets are still good. There's a hand holding a gun and another hand holding a bag of drugs.
Arg. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
and this is the kind of stuff that people turn to in times. I mean, there's more drinking, more domestic abuse that goes on in hard economic times, more excessive drinking,
Mm-hmm.
and excessive drug use.
So criticizing life-threatening government policy is something that a lot of us have been doing for a long time, even when it's not particularly a time of intense war-making on our part. There's always environmental issues to raise, etc.
There's every kind of injustice that arises from
racism, lack of education for all, that sort of thing.
a country that will arise in a country that's run by monopoly capitalism.
Okay, so, well, we'll continue on your list, but I remember when we were growing up, kids were asked to write, to make posters for cleanup week.
Yeah.
And they would wind up in the windows of local business establishments. Yeah. Keep our neighborhood clean by doing yada, yada, yada. And there is a rebirth of something like that going on, only it's internet-based and it's environmentally geared. But to me, it's a good sign to be inviting the youth to make statements with their art.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad to see that's still alive.